Why do women ignore you when they're deeply in love? Modern Stoic. Love is not about possession. It's about appreciation. Osho, have you ever experienced the strange and painful sensation of being ignored by a woman you thought was interested in you? She was affectionate, engaging, and seemingly into you, until, suddenly, she became distant. You're left questioning yourself. Did I say something wrong? Did I do something that pushed her away? Or is it just all in my head? It's a perplexing situation. But here's the truth. When a woman is deeply in love, she might actually pull away, not because of something you did, but because of something more complex at play beneath the surface. It's not about a lack of feelings. It's about fear, vulnerability, and the intense emotions that love can stir up. In this conversation, we're going to explore the psychology behind this behavior, unraveling why the woman who is falling for you might seem like she's pulling back. By the end, you'll not only understand why this happens, but also recognize it as a quiet, yet powerful expression of how much she truly cares. 1. The paradox of love. Don't be fooled by silence. Don't mistake her distance for disinterest. That's where so many men go wrong, especially those of us trained by life to read affection as action. We expect love to be loud, to be in our face, to chase us like a Hollywood romance scene. But real love, the kind that rattles the bones and softens the heart, doesn't always show up with fireworks. Sometimes it slips into the room quietly and hides behind hesitation. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not living with the blessing of Stoicism, you'll miss it entirely. Because here's the hard truth. Brother, when a woman is deeply in love, she may ignore you not out of cruelty, but out of fear. That's the paradox. She's not running from you. She's running from the vulnerability you awaken in her. You must understand this. Emotionally intelligent women, especially those who've been bruised by life or carry the armor of experience, don't fall softly. When they feel too much, they freeze. When they care deeply, they retreat. Why? Because love, real love, rips the door off the hinges. It makes her feel seen, raw, and terrifyingly open. And for many women, that openness isn't freeing. It's dangerous. That's what psychologists call the approach-avoidance conflict. She wants to be close, but her instincts scream danger. Her past whispers, what if he leaves? Her mind asks, what if he doesn't love me back? And that internal war creates silence, not rejection, not indifference, just fear wearing a quiet coat. Be a modern Stoic here. That doesn't mean being cold or unfeeling. No, it means being anchored, being unmoved by her storms, while still deeply present. You must learn to read her withdrawal, not react to it. The blessing of Stoicism is that it teaches you not to jump to conclusions, not to act on impulse. Don't chase, don't accuse, don't play emotional chess. Instead, observe, recognize that her silence might be a scream muffled by pride. Her distance might be an invitation, a dare to see if you're steady enough to stay. That is your test. Will you be the man who panics and pushes, or the man who breathes, waits, and understands? Let's be honest. If you're over 35, you've likely learned the hard way that emotional chaos doesn't lead to connection. Reaction ruins more bonds than betrayal. The old Stoic knew this. He didn't crumble under confusion. He didn't flinch at feminine mystery. He stood firm, grounded in his self-worth, unshaken by emotional weather. You must do the same. When she pulls back, don't take it personally. Take it seriously. Be still. Be kind. Be there. Because often, the woman who steps away is silently asking, can I trust you with my heart when I don't even trust myself with it? Modern Stoicism isn't about apathy. It's about clarity. It's about seeing through the fog of fear and recognizing the quiet signals of love. That moment when she goes quiet, when she looks away instead of looking at you, that might be the most honest part of her affection. She's not ignoring you. She's terrified she might lose you, or worse, lose herself in you. And sometimes, that's just too much for her nervous system to handle. So she goes quiet. She retreats. But she's watching, always watching, waiting to see if you'll crumble or hold steady. Be the man who doesn't flinch. Be the man who knows. And in that knowing, you just might unlock the deepest intimacy of all. 2. Self-preservation, not rejection. Don't mistake her silence for apathy. Don't fall for the modern myth that love always chases, always calls, always texts first. That's the Hollywood version, not real life, and certainly not Stoic life. We've been spoon-fed this idea since boyhood. If she loves you, she'll show it loud and clear. But life, as any modern Stoic knows, rarely moves in straight lines. Love, especially love born from scars, moves like smoke, quiet, elusive, hard to hold, yet very, very real. Here's the truth most men miss when a woman ignores you. It doesn't always mean she's done. It doesn't always mean she's pulling away. Sometimes it's the exact opposite. Sometimes she's desperately holding herself back, not from you, but from her own feelings. Why? Because to love you is to risk losing herself. That's not rejection. That's self-preservation. A fire doesn't roar all the time. Sometimes it simmers beneath the ashes, and you only see the smoke if you know where to look. You must understand, many women, especially those who've been burned by love before, don't love the way they used to. They guard themselves, they overthink, they hesitate. You might not get a flurry of good morning texts or long late night calls. What you'll get instead is a woman pacing in her kitchen, phone in hand, rereading your last message, typing a reply, deleting it, then sitting in silence, not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. That's the paradox. Deep love triggers deep fear. That fear isn't of you. It's surrendering, of falling too far, too fast. Loving you means letting go of control. And for some women, especially the ones who've learned to survive on their own, that feels like stepping off a cliff without a parachute. So, they armor up, they stay cold, distant, silent, but don't be fooled, inside, they're burning. This is where Stoic lessons come in. Be the man who doesn't react with panic. Don't chase, don't accuse, and above all, don't collapse. You must embody what the Stoics taught: control yourself, not others. Observe without judgment, respond without desperation. That is Stoicism in action. When she withdraws, don't chase blindly. Instead, be still, be steady. Your calm is your strength, your patience is your power, and sometimes your stillness is the very thing that draws her back. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's it. That's the key. Don't waste energy trying to decode her silence like a riddle. Don't spiral into doubt or start performing emotional acrobatics. Instead, control the one thing you can, yourself. Live the Stoic life, where presence is more powerful than pressure, where grace under fire earns more respect than grand romantic gestures. A modern Stoic doesn't demand explanations. He doesn't crumble under the weight of someone else's confusion. He stands tall, even in silence. And that silence, believe it or not, is where most of the real love lives. You want a woman's heart. Then understand her silence is part of her language. It's not a wall, it's a shield. And if you react like every other man she's ever known, angry, insecure, needy, you only confirm her worst fear. But if you respond with grounded strength, quiet confidence, and emotional maturity, you show her something rare: safety. This is what the Stoic life teaches, not detachment from love, but resilience within it. Love is messy, fearful, imperfect, but it's also worth it. Her silence isn't rejection, it's a whispered hope that maybe, just maybe, this time she won't have to protect herself forever. So be patient, be aware, be a fortress, not a flood. That's how love is earned. That's how love lasts. And if this hits home, drop a comment right now. Her silence is strength, not rejection. Like this video, subscribe for more modern Stoic wisdom, and remember, sometimes distance is just a shield, not a door closing. 3. Past pain shapes present love. Let's cut through the confusion. If she's ignoring you while loving you deeply, it's not about you. It's about survival, emotional survival. Behind her silence is a war, one you can't see, but must understand. Her past isn't just a memory, it's a battlefield. Somewhere back there, she gave everything to someone who shattered her. She loved with abandon and paid with pain. And that pain didn't vanish. It shaped her. It built armor over her softness. So now, when real love threatens to break through again, she resists. Not because she doesn't feel it, but because she feels it too much. This is where a modern Stoic must rise. A man guided by strength, presence, and wisdom. A man who lives not for the comfort of being wanted, but the power of understanding human nature. Don't take her distance as rejection. Take it as a test, not of your worth, but of your depth. She's watching to see if you flinch, if you collapse under the weight of her fears. Don't. Stand like a mountain, steady, calm, present. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her fears are not your enemy. They are your opportunity, your call to rise. Her silence, a challenge. Her hesitation, a mirror, reflecting the depth of your own emotional mastery. The Stoic man doesn't chase validation. He stands in purpose. He doesn't beg for love. He embodies it. He doesn't react. He leads. She doesn't need a savior. She needs a fortress. Be that fortress. In modern life, women have grown tired of empty promises, slick talkers, and weak men pretending to be strong. They don't want perfection. They want presence. They crave reliability. They long for the truth. So when she starts to love you, her instincts scream, "Don't trust this." It's not coldness. It's conditioning. She's been trained by past betrayals to doubt what feels good. So the more she loves, the more she fears. And that fear looks like withdrawal, silence, coldness. That's the paradox. The deeper her love, the higher her guard. This is where most men fall apart. But you won't. Don't take it personally. Take it seriously. If you truly want to lead in love, you must embody Stoic principles, self-control, perspective, patience, strength. You must stop needing her affection to validate your worth. You must master your emotions, not drown in them. You must remember, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Be the kind of man who doesn't need to be reassured. Be the kind of man whose silence is louder than her fear. Let your actions speak clearly. Let your presence speak safety. And never, ever let her silence shake your core. Victory in love does not belong to the impatient. It belongs to the ground, to the men who don't chase approval, but radiate certainty. She ignores you because she's protecting herself from the pain she's already survived. Don't punish her for that. Understand it. And then, don't flinch. Be the Stoic anchor in her storm. Be the man she never knew existed. Be the reason she learns to trust again. Let her fear melt in the fire of your unwavering presence. That is modern strength. That is Stoicism in action. That is mastery. You must become a modern Stoic. You must become unshakable. Not for her. For you. Because the man who conquers his emotions rules his world. Because the man who understands women understands life. Because when you show her what stillness feels like, she'll finally believe love can be safe again. And in that moment, she won't just love you, she'll surrender. And that is victory. 4. Emotional overload. Don't misread her silence. Don't take the quiet as a sign of disinterest. And don't let her distance convince you she's stopped caring. That cold exterior. It's not a wall. It's armor. Because when a woman loves deeply, it doesn't always show up like a Hallmark movie. Sometimes it shows up like a power outage, unexpected, confusing, and cloaked in darkness. Love, real love, isn't always loud. It isn't always obvious. Especially not for women who feel with their entire being. When she falls in love, she doesn't always run to you. She might run from you. And not because she's unsure, but because she's sure. And that certainty is terrifying. It's the emotional overload that modern men often overlook. And this is where the modern Stoic must rise. Not to chase, not to beg, but to understand. You must understand this falling in love isn't neat. It's not a smooth descent. It's a beautiful, chaotic crash. And for many women, especially those who are emotionally deep, intuitive, or sensitive, that crash can be overwhelming. They feel more than they let on, much more. Their internal world is a tidal wave of thought, hope, fear, fantasy, and vulnerability. When love strikes, it doesn't politely knock, it floods. And in that flood, she may feel the urgent need to retreat, to process, to find her footing again. Her silence is not a punishment. It's a survival tactic. Don't mistake her withdrawal for rejection. It's just that she needs to breathe before she drowns in her own feelings. This is the point where most men panic. They think they're being ghosted or played. They start double texting, over-explaining, trying to force the connection back into motion. But the old Stoic knows better. He doesn't chase storms. He weathers them. Be that man. Be the mountain. Be unmoved. Your job is not to decode her silence like it's a riddle. It's to respect her silence like it's sacred space. Let her retreat without judgment. Let her process without pressure. Give her room to feel safe again. And in doing so, you demonstrate not just emotional intelligence, but masculine depth, the kind the blessing of Stoicism demands. Don't demand a performance of affection on your timeline. Love doesn't operate on a clock. It's not a business meeting. It's a living, breathing force that bends and breaks rules. Understand that her emotional overload isn't a flaw. It's proof that she feels profoundly. And that is not something to fear. It's something to honor. Women who feel deeply are not too much. They are rare, and they are worth your patience, but only if you can stand tall in the face of silence, rather than crumble in the absence of constant validation. She may not say the words right now. She may not reach out. She may not look at you the way she did last week. But if you stay grounded, if you hold your peace and resist the urge to control the outcome, you give her the one thing she truly needs: safety. Emotional safety. And once she feels that, once she sees that you're not threatened by her intensity, she'll come back stronger, braver, clearer, because now she knows she's loved by someone who doesn't just want her, he understands her. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you a modern Stoic in a world full of anxious men. You don't flinch at silence. You don't run from discomfort. You don't chase approval like a boy. You hold steady like a man. That is the blessing of Stoicism. That is the quiet, firm power of the old Stoic who knows that real love isn't about constant connection, it's about deep recognition. And sometimes, the loudest way she says, "I love you," is by saying absolutely nothing at all. So don't chase. Don't fear the quiet. Be still. Be sure. Be the one man who doesn't need noise to know he's chosen. If you found this insight powerful, like the video, share it with someone navigating love, and subscribe for more modern Stoic wisdom. Comment to remember. Sometimes silence means she's catching her breath, not losing interest. Let others see your voice in the comments. 5. The power struggle. The truth most men never hear is this: when a woman is deeply in love, she might ignore you not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. This is about power, control, vulnerability. The deeper she falls, the more her emotions threaten her sense of independence. In today's world, women are taught to never rely on a man, to never lose their grip, to never show weakness. Love, for her, feels like surrender. And so, she retreats. She hides her emotions. She distances herself. She ignores you. Not because you don't matter, but because you matter too much. It's not a game. It's a defense. She's fighting an internal war between her heart and her ego, between connection and control, between passion and pride. And this is where modern Stoic principles must guide you. You must not react with anger. You must not chase or crumble, Marcus Aurelius said. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her distance is not your defeat. It is your challenge. Stand tall, hold your ground. This is your test as a man. In this dance of emotion and ego, you must not flinch. Be unmoved. Be calm. Be stoic. A woman's silence, her coldness, her sudden withdrawal. These are not signs to panic. They are signs to master yourself. In a world where everyone reacts, you must respond with intention. The modern man loses because he seeks validation from confusion. Do not beg, do not demand, do not sink to weakness. You must rise in discipline. Let her feel your strength in your calm. Let her question why you're not shaken. That is power. That is Stoic mastery. That is the control of the inner citadel Marcus Aurelius spoke of. You lead by holding firm, by not being tossed by the tides of her emotion. When she sees your peace, your unshakable core, she will feel your strength, not in what you say, but in what you withhold. Your restraint speaks louder than her silence. Understand this. When a woman deeply loves, she becomes terrified of being consumed. She fears losing herself, so she distances to regain a sense of control. This is not rejection. This is self-preservation. It's not about you. It's about her internal battle. And your role is not to fix her. It's to master yourself. That's what Stoic men do. They don't collapse under emotional pressure. They rise above it. Let her retreat. Let her process. But never abandon your post. Never lose your dignity. You must be the rock in the storm, the lighthouse in her chaos. The Stoic man, grounded in truth. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In this case, the injury is emotional confusion. The reaction is clarity. That is your path. So let's be clear. She may ignore you, but that doesn't mean you've lost. That means it's time to lead. With grace, with power, with Stoic resolve. Let your silence be strong, not sulking. Let your stillness be commanding, not cold. She's watching. Don't speak. Show her who you are. Show her that you do not break when things get uncertain. That is the ultimate masculine power. That is what separates the average man from the Stoic warrior. You must be the man who does not chase chaos, but controls it. Master this moment, and you master yourself. Win here, and you win in life. Victory isn't in her return. Victory is in your self-mastery. Stand up, stay grounded, be the modern Stoic. 6. Stillness, signals, and strength what to do when she ignores you with love. Signs. She's ignoring you because she loves you. Let's cut through the noise. When a woman ignores you, the natural instinct is to assume the worst. She's lost interest. She's done. Game over, but not so fast. Sometimes love doesn't shout. It hides. It trembles. It dodges. It pretends. Why? Because for her, vulnerability is terrifying. Stoic lessons remind us what appears calm on the surface may conceal a storm within. Love can make her feel exposed. And that fear, it shows up as silence. She watches you, but never says a word. You'll catch her looking, then quickly looking away. She sees everything, your grin, your tired eyes, the way you roll your sleeves. She's scanning your presence like it matters, because it does. But she won't approach. Why? Because getting closer means risking more. Risking rejection. Risking her pride. In Stoicism, we're taught not to chase illusions, but also not to ignore quiet truths. Her glance is one. Her energy shifts the moment you enter the room. She fidgets. She stiffens. She talks less, or maybe too much. Either way, it's a performance. A cover, a shield, like a soldier putting on armor. She's trying to keep it together. This isn't disinterest, this is defense. And you, my friend, are the battlefield she's not ready to cross. She keeps tabs, without keeping tabs. Ask your buddies. She's casually asked about you. Checked a story on Instagram, liked a post from 6 weeks ago. Coincidence? Hardly. In the Stoic life, we learn to see what's real beneath the noise. And here's the truth: she cares. She's just scared. Scared of caring too much. Scared of giving her heart to someone who won't guard it with honor. She responds, but her words wear armor. One-word texts, delayed replies, polite, measured, controlled. But here's the secret: she still answers. She could ghost you completely, but she doesn't. Why? Because connection still matters to her. She's trying not to fall any deeper. And you're already deeper than she'd like to admit. Her silence is thunder. Listen closely. It's louder than words. The way her eyes linger when she thinks you're not looking. The way her energy pulls toward you. Even when her body steps back, she's not saying, "Go away." She's silently pleading, "Don't give up on me." In Stoicism, we understand sometimes restraint reveals the greatest depth, and her quiet speaks volumes. What you must do if you suspect she's ignoring you out of love, not dislike. Now comes your test. How do you respond? Do you panic? Do you push? Do you disappear? No, you lead with calm, with clarity, with stoic grace, because this isn't a game. This is the dance of two people trying to trust the fire between them without getting burned. Be patient. Don't misread her silence as manipulation. This isn't some hard-to-get trick. It's self-preservation. Let her feel safe in your steadiness. Remember, Stoic life isn't about fixing others. It's about mastering yourself. Stay consistent. Don't chase, but don't vanish. Be the lighthouse, not the storm. Let her know you're there, not hovering, but steady. Real love is earned through trust, not tactics. She needs to feel you won't bolt when emotions get messy. Create emotional safety. Let down your own guard. Share your fears. Let her see your human side. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's leadership. And when she feels your heart is a safe place, she'll slowly bring hers into the light. Don't pressure, never demand, never corner her with "What's wrong?" or "Why are you acting like this?" She'll shut down. Instead, invite her in with gentleness. Let her pace the path toward you. Speak through action. Small things matter. Listen. Remember her stories. Send a message that asks about her day, not just her weekend plans. Love isn't always a big declaration. Sometimes it's showing up, quietly, steadily, like a true Stoic warrior. In this moment, you have a choice. React like the average man, needy, impatient, panicked, or respond like a Stoic, calm, present, powerful. That is Stoicism. That is the heart of a man who understands real strength lies not in forcing love, but in allowing it to unfold. Hold your center, keep your dignity, and above all, live the Stoic life with honor. She may be ignoring you, but her heart might just be waiting for the man who knows how to see her, even in silence. 7. When to let go? Don't confuse silence with love. Don't mistake emotional distance for hidden passion. If a woman is deeply in love with you, it shows, even in the smallest of ways. The look in her eyes, the tone in her voice, the softness in her silence. Love, real love, always leaves a trail. But if she ignores you with a cold, consistent indifference, if her silence feels like a wall rather than a whisper, you must face the truth. This isn't love. It might be time to let go. Let go with dignity. Let go with strength. Let go like a modern Stoic. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is the very essence of Stoic principles. That is what men of discipline, vision, and clarity must remember. You're not here to chase illusions. You're not here to beg for breadcrumbs of affection. You are a man, a builder, a force. If you are always the one initiating, always the one giving, always the one hoping, and receiving nothing in return, you are not in a relationship. You are in a fantasy, a self-inflicted illusion. The modern Stoic doesn't live in illusions. He cuts through them. He sees things as they are, not as he wishes them to be. There is no room for denial in a powerful man's life. A woman who values you will show it. A woman who loves you will not hide in indifference. She may be quiet, yes, she may not speak often, but her energy will speak volumes. If you feel nothing, no warmth, no flicker, no echo of connection, then you are pouring yourself into an empty well. Don't wait. Don't beg. Don't compromise your masculine essence for the hope of love that doesn't exist. Letting go is not a defeat. It is a triumph of wisdom. It is a declaration that you will not waste your time, energy, and soul on something unworthy. That's not weakness. That's victory. The Stoic man understands that what is meant for him will flow toward him, not run from him. He doesn't chase. He aligns. He stays grounded. As Marcus Aurelius declared, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. If her distance is hurting you, don't resist it. Use it. Let it drive you inward. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you of your own worth. That is the Stoic path. That is how a modern man reclaims his power. You must remember this. You are not losing her. You are finding yourself. You are not walking away from love. You are walking toward peace. You are not emptying your hands. You are clearing space for something better. The world does not reward the desperate. It rewards the decisive. Be decisive. Be strong. Be calm in your decision, like a warrior in silence before battle. Let her absence be your teacher. Let your solitude become your strategy. The Stoic principles are not about suppressing emotion. They are about mastering it. They are about standing tall while the world trembles, walking away from what doesn't serve you without flinching. That is your edge. That is your code. That is how you win. So don't cling. Don't delay. Don't doubt. Let go with clarity. Let go with pride. Let go like a man who knows what he brings to the table. Because when you do, you rise. You rise above confusion. You rise above fear. You rise above the noise. And you step into the life you were meant to lead, powerful, peaceful, and free. If you found this message valuable, like the video, comment below, and share it with someone who needs clarity. Don't forget to subscribe for more modern Stoic wisdom. Comment to remember, letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom. Let this be your daily affirmation, and a reminder that your peace is more powerful than chasing potential. 8. Love doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes it tiptoes in. Don't be fooled by silence. Don't assume distance means disinterest. That quiet woman who won't meet your gaze, the one who answers your texts a little too slowly, or seems to fade into the background when you're around. She might be the very one whose heart beats louder for you than she dares admit. The modern Stoic understands this love. Like pain, is often born in stillness. It doesn't need to scream. It doesn't have to be performed. It just is. And the blessing of Stoicism teaches us not to react to what we see, but to read between the lines, to feel the weight of what's unsaid. You want proof. That same woman who seems to ignore you might be the one lying awake at night, whispering your name to the ceiling fan, terrified of losing something that never even had a chance to bloom. You must understand this ancient truth. Love is not always grand gestures. Real love isn't always wrapped in roses or dressed up in poetry. Sometimes it's wrapped in fear, fear of rejection, fear of being too much, or worse, not enough. Sometimes she stays silent, not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. That silence, that hesitation, that awkward pause when you speak, it's the battlefield between her longing and her limits. And you, if you're walking the path of the old Stoic, must see through the noise, or lack of it, and recognize the silent war she's fighting inside her heart. Men, don't walk away too quickly. Don't misread stillness as coldness. Be wiser. Be still yourself. That's the blessing of Stoicism. It slows you down, sharpens your focus. It teaches you to listen with your soul, not just your ears. When she withdraws, lean in, but not aggressively. Be present, not pushy. This isn't a game of chase. It's a quiet unraveling of two nervous hearts. You think love always announces itself. That's a lie we've been sold by movies and cheap novels. Sometimes, love is hiding in plain sight, terrified of its own shadow. So if she turns her head when you enter the room, don't just see rejection, see restraint. If her words are short, don't assume she's cold. She might be burning inside. That's why being a modern Stoic matters now more than ever. Don't crumble. Don't demand. Stand firm in your understanding. Observe. Reflect. Ask yourself, is this absence of attention truly about me, or is it about her war with vulnerability? Often, it's the latter, and the old Stoic in you already knows the answer. Here's your challenge. Don't just hear her voice. Hear her silence. Don't chase her words, watch her eyes. Real connection isn't forged in noise. It's built in stillness, in the brave act of staying when everything inside you says to run. That's the beauty of love filtered through the lens of the modern Stoic. It doesn't flinch. It waits. It watches. It whispers. And it understands that sometimes the woman who looks away the most is the one who wishes most desperately that you'd stay. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts below. Have you ever been ignored by someone you knew loved you deeply? What did you do? Look, people aren't always easy to read. Just because someone pulls away doesn't mean they don't care. Sometimes, love makes people act in confusing ways, especially when they're overwhelmed or unsure of themselves. That doesn't make your feelings less valid. It just means there's more going on beneath the surface. So here's my advice. Stay calm, stay grounded, don't chase, don't assume, give space when needed, and don't forget to honor your own worth in the process. That's the modern Stoic way. Steady, self-respecting, and clear. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourself. We'll see you in the next one.